You get me a piece of paper somewhere?
And everybody else, please mute yourself out so that it's clear. Okay, Janet, take it away.
All righty. Well, thank you all for coming, and I want to credit Reagan Dean for this training. This is one of a number of trainings that she shared with us. I'm on the Brave Leaders program, and you know, as you go through and you see different ideas for ways to present your business and grow it, you want to realize that some of them will fit you and some of them not so much. But it's a good idea to take a look at them, and it might be a matter of just changing the way they're speaking, the words that they use, or the scenario, and you may find a really good tool that at first glance you thought, well, these two outside your box. So in looking at what we're going to present tonight, just keep in mind, just because I'm using certain words, you can use some different words, and you can do it a different way. It's just getting the basic idea across. So if you do have a pencil and paper, that will be good. There will be in the files, the turquoise files, the information that I'm sharing with you tonight is typed out. I typed it all out, and it's going to be in the file, so don't worry about writing everything down. You might write some keywords down if there's a particular phrase that you like, but don't worry about, you know, trying to get everything, because you'll miss the flow of it. And I've got it all ready for her to set into the turquoise file. So I wanted to get that down.
And Janet, anytime Janet, anytime you want, I've got them all ready to share the screen. So if you're going to talk about a document, let me know and I can put it up here for everyone to look at.
Oh, okay. Did you get the ones I just sent?
Yeah.
The new ones? Okay. I'm trying to think what this one was called. Well, let's start with the basic introduction, and then we'll go to I think it's Elevator Speech Tools 2. There's an _2 for the first one. But let's start with just a general introduction to this. If you can kind of picture yourself at a conference and being on the 10th floor, and you got to go down and see your buddies downstairs, and you get in the elevator, and on the way down the door opens and somebody walks in, and they look at you and you've got your badges and everything on you, and they say, oh, are you here for that conference? What do you do? So after you get over the initial shock and start to breathe again, pick yourself up off the floor. You've got about 10 seconds that you have to get their interest and possibly trade card information with them. And so that's the challenge, and the elevator language formula really meets that. Before we go into the actual wording for it, we need to know that we're in the business of problem solving, helping people to solve problems. Now, in order to do that and grow our business, what are two things that we need to know? If we're going to help somebody solve a problem, what are two things we need to know? Anybody want to jump in? Okay, we'll move on. You need to know the problem. You need to know what the problem is, and then you need to know what in your business or in your product line can help to solve that problem. And that's exactly what the elevator speech gets into. It talks about what is the problem with the first part and what is our possible solution to that. So let's go to writing down what the magic words are for the elevator language. There's two lines. The first line is, do you know how? So write that down. Do you know how? And then just draw a line. And then the second line is, well, what I do is, and draw a line. And obviously the line is for fill in the blank. And we're going to get to that. And while they're doing that, Barb, if you could put up I think it's tools with the _2. It's the 5 motivators that get people into our industry. See if that will pop up. And if not, I'll just run through it.
Can you see it?
That's the first. Let's see. Go ahead. You can make it. 5 motivators.
This is the one that said 2.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with that. Yeah. Okay.
I've got the other ones. I
had a different title on mine, but that's fine. That's basically where we're going to go. What are things that are problems for people? And looking at this first list here, these are the kind of categories that we find people have concerns and they're worried about and they're frustrated about. Number one, health, of being overweight, having unhealthy lifestyles, not sleeping, aches and discomfort. Number two, financial troubles. I think we all know that one. Not enough money to send the kids to college or being in debt. Retirement programs. I've heard people say, what if I don't have what it takes to retire when the time comes? Number three, lack of time freedom. Basically not having choices, not being able to have dreams. Some people don't even have that word in their language. Number four, job dissatisfaction. People hate their job or they hate just the long hours away from their family. And now we're having things like environmental issues, the quality of the food they eat and how it's grown. These are things that are important to people. So I'm going to give you two examples of how the elevator speech formula works based on 2 points that were up there. So what do? Here's the product. Here's an example of approaching someone. Say a mom gets in the elevator with kids. And you say, well, she might say, well, what do? You look at her and she's got these kids there and you go, you know how people today are concerned about kids not eating right? Well, what I do is I help them get more fruits and vegetables in their entire family in a matter of minutes. And I take the worry away from mom. And that's it. And you can get some interesting responses to that. Barb's already told us she's had people wanting to know more. And a real trick with this is having words that kind of catch people's interest, like, oh yeah, what? Really? And we're going to be looking at more of these. So that's an example of looking at a problem and showing how our product can address that. Here's another one, the second one. What do you do as far as the business? Do you know how many people worry about their financial future because they can't seem to get ahead? You can imagine a businessman walking into the elevator and you're on your way down and you see he's dressed nicely and you just start a conversation. That's usually something that fits into business people's vernacular because they're traveling. They've got meetings all the time. People are worried about their financial future. Well, what I do is, and this is very simple, I show people how to start their own business where they can create the income they want without jeopardizing their current situation. That's one example of a way you can follow that up. So let's move on to the next page. And this gives examples of problems that you could touch on for things our product can help with. And I'm going to read through them. And as I read through them, and you get to see them on the screen, thank you, Barb, I want you to think about which one of those resonates with you and pick one. I'll read through them, and I'm going to read through them one more time and write down the one that you want to play with, okay? Concerned about kids and families not eating right, whether they'll be healthy enough to enjoy their retirement, worried about their kids constantly being sick, worried about how to fit healthy eating into their busy schedule. So go through it one more time. Pick one and write it out. You know how people are concerned about kids and families not eating right, how people are concerned whether they will be healthy enough to enjoy their retirement. You know how they're worried about their kids constantly being sick, and they're worried about how to fit healthy eating into their busy schedule. Does everybody have one? I see some heads wagging. Okay, that's the product one we're going to look at. Let's go down to the business because you're going to work on two. Hopefully we'll have enough time. You'll have to keep me posted on time, Barb.
Okay.
Examples of problems our business can solve. Being worried about not having enough time to spend with their families. Being frustrated because they have to put kids in daycare because both parents have to work. Being concerned because they're stuck in a job with a boss that they hate. Or worried because they're not having enough money at the end of the month for things besides bills. So pick one of those. I'll read through them one more time. You know how people are worried about not having enough time to spend with their families. You know how they're worried about having to put kids in daycare because both parents have to work. How families are concerned about being stuck in a job with a boss that they hate. How about being frustrated about not having enough money at the end of the month for things besides bills? Everybody ready? Okay, let's go to the next page. And let's answer these. We're going to look at some answers. And we'll start with the first one. And I have a response to that. But I wanted to see if anybody else might have a response. Let's look at number 1. Do you know how people are concerned about their kids and families not eating right? Well, what I do is show people one simple change where they can get lots of fruits and vegetable nutrition into their families in a matter of minutes.
Or seconds.
Or seconds. That can really catch somebody's eye. And that's just changing of a little bit of words, but it can make a big difference. Would anyone else have an idea of a way to finish up that elevator speech? Do you know how people are concerned about their kids and families not eating right?
Well, you hear the verbiage a lot, flooding your body with fruits and vegetables. So you could say something about, what I do is show people a simple way to flood their bodies with fruits and vegetables. And I like saying in a matter of seconds, because that makes people go, huh?
Yeah, you're catching, yes. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Again, this is a lot to kind of think about when you first hit it, so don't feel bad if you don't have any ideas. One of the attachments or things that will be in the files are all of the answers that the people that came to our training wrote down on their sheets, and I compiled them. And you'll find those really interesting because there's a whole wide range of responses to some of these questions, and they will give you ideas. Okay, number 2. You know, people are worried about whether they will be healthy enough to enjoy their retirement. And this is just a simple answer. Well, what I do is help people make one simple change and stick to it. So it doesn't really clarify, but it gets you thinking, what could that be? One simple change?
I like that one.
Any other thoughts?
Once you get them thinking, they start asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where they exchange the bill.
Yeah.
I like that.
We'll go on to the next one. Do you know how moms are worried about their kids getting sick all the time and having to miss work because of it? Well, what I do is help parents with a simple way to get their kids the nutrition their bodies need to boost their immune systems and build healthy eating habits. And the kids can get it for free. Pause. That should raise some eyebrows. So that's a simple one. But can you see how these are building into them a little bit of a description of what our product has to offer? It's not just saying, oh, I know a product that can fix that. Although you could say that. I know somebody wrote that down actually, says, I know something that can fix that.
Well, we have to be careful about making claims, though. That I wouldn't use that one.
You'd have to be very careful.
That one's kind of making a claim we can't make.
How about number 4? Do you know how people are concerned about being able to fit healthy eating habits into their already busy schedule? Well, what I do is let people know how they can get their nutrition throughout the day in a capsule with antioxidants from fruits and vegetables. It's the most important part of my groceries. I like that one because it helps you see it, categorizes it into, oh, grocery budget. Oh. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, which is the business. The first question was, do you know how people are frustrated with not having enough time to spend with their families? Well, what I do is help people earn money from working at home so they can spend more time with their families.
Can you hold on a second? This is CJ. I was online and then the whole thing went away. Were other people online and got dropped, or was it just me?
I think it was just you, CJ. Everybody else is on. Can you just try dialing in again? Try getting on again through Zoom on your computer.
Well, I've got you with the phone, so we'll leave it at that. I can listen by phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And it's being recorded, so you can catch it later too.
Okay.
Stay online now. Okay. So something as simple as that, I help people earn money working from home so they can spend more time with their families. How about, you know how parents can be worried about having to put their kids in daycare because both parents have to work? Well, what I do is help people earn extra money in the world of wellness working from home in stolen moments. I like the stolen moments part.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you get somebody that says, I'm so busy, I can't add another thing?
Yeah.
Move on to the next. Do you know how some people are frustrated because they feel stuck in a job they hate with people that they don't want to work for? Well, what I do is help people fire their bosses by starting their own business from home. And then number 4, do you know how people are concerned about not having enough money at the end of the month for things besides bills? Well, what I do is help people create a second income working from home to open up options and choices for extra income. And I'll give you an example of my own experience. See where I wrote it down. I work at horse shows, and I have a motto that says, your horse is healthy, how about you? I can help you with that. And this would be how I would arrange this elevator speech, because I actually had an opportunity where I was at a show and I was watching the kids do their jumping and all, and I have a vest that has that on the back of the vest. So I had a captive audience behind me of 4 moms, and one of them finally says to me, what is it that you do? And I wished I'd had this in my pocket because I kind of stumbled in my response. But this is what I would say today. You know how we equestrians pour lots of money and time to ensure that our horses are healthy and sound, and we don't take the time to get ourselves healthy? Well, what I do is I show riders an incredibly easy, and I have to say yummy way that I've found to up your nutrition and improve your health so we can check that box off our list and stay focused on our horse's health and our riding goals. That's what I would do today.
Nice.
So let's go on to, we were not ready for the next part yet. So now what I want you to do is go back to your original part that you wrote down. Do you know how? Do you know how? And I want you to think about a group of people or a situation that you have run into where you're talking with people or want to talk to people about what Juice Plus can offer them, either as a product or a business. And go ahead and pretend one of those people is sitting there with you in the elevator or standing in the elevator, and they're asking you, what do you do? And let's see if you can come up with a response. It could be a mom's family setting, it could be, corporate, it could be the neighbor, whatever. But I want to give you a chance to just think about what we've talked about. And Barb, if you could scroll back to the beginning of this handout, because it lists the motivators that get people into our industry, the health and financial troubles, that can give you an idea. And let's see if we can get 1 or 2 volunteers just to share that opening statement. And then let's work together to complete that. So let's take a few minutes and see if you can come up with something. And if you're having trouble coming up with something, go back to the one that you picked when we read through the examples of problems that our product could solve. If you remember that, you want to scroll down to the second page, Barb. If you pick one of these, and we'll work on it. So does everybody have something now in front of them?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a volunteer that we can help?
I've got one.
Okay. Which one were you going to do, or did you want to do?
Well, I made up my own. Is that what we're supposed to be doing?
Sure.
That's perfectly fine. Yes. You have the option of that or picking the one that we listed earlier. I like
Okay.
making your own though.
Yeah. So, my elevator speech is if someone asks me what I do, one of the things I could say is, do you know how expensive health care is today? And so many people are struggling with health and nutrition challenges. Well, what I do is provide a simple solution to help them with that.
Good. Because you don't have to line out all the stuff. You want to point to benefits, but we don't have to give them all the details. I think that's great. Anyone else?
This is Bobby. I think I got it. Can you hear
Okay.
me? Okay. Do you know how hard it is sometimes to prepare healthy meals for lunch each and every day of the week?
Mm.
And I would say, well, what I do is help make it easy and save time for the entire week.
Mm.
Good. Some good points. Anyone else?
I'll give a version of the one that I gave when I was there. Do you know how moms today are concerned with how to feed their family healthy in the midst of the craziness? And then, well, what I do is provide simple solutions for, oh, how did I have that? I didn't write the answer. It was one of them up above. For getting great nutrition in your family in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
Can I say something? I picked one.
Yes.
The one having
Okay, Don.
where you're talking about getting kids out of school because they're sick and you have to go and pick them up. Would you like to continue doing that or not to have it at all? And here's what I can offer you. How many times did you lose time at work because you had to pick up your child and they're sick? We can provide very instant fruits and vegetables and berries that they probably don't want to eat in a simple place, in a simple way, so that you wouldn't have to, because they're going to be more healthy and won't have to worry about that.
Interesting. You may want to condense it just a little bit, but I think the substance is very good. Very good.
I've used it before.
Yeah. I would
Excellent.
shorten it up a little bit, Don.
Yeah,
So there's more intrigue.
I emphasize it a little bit more, but most of the time they stop me and say, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?" And that's when I can get into the details.
Yeah.
Because that's always his. And then any family, mom, dad, they hear anything that can help them to keep their kids healthy. 90% of them will say, "Yeah, I need something." I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's usually pretty solid. But helping people know there is something you can do around cold and flu season with your little guys. Well, not only that, but when you're at the workplace and people are sneezing all over the place, you can't afford to be sick.
That's it. Exactly. My wife works in a what do you call it? A petri. What's the petri dish? Right? The petri dish. You know when they're in the
Yeah, petri dish.
Oh.
The petri dish.
People come from all over the city and the state, and they come in and work in there with her, and bingo, they get their problems. She doesn't have them.
And it can be very simple. I just have a really simple and incidentally yummy way to improve your immunity and help you be healthier during this flu and cold season. So some ears will pick up on that, and then adding that little piece about, and your kids can get it for free. I love that one.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. there was something we didn't touch on, but I'll just share. This is one of the things that came out of the training. You know, people today are concerned about the toxins in our environment and the food chain. But what I do is help people grow their own organic produce with very little effort, and it's friendly for the environment. Neat way to bring in the Tower Garden.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on to examples that problems a business can solve. Did someone have one there they wanted to share?
Improve your immune system.
And you know, we can even streamline it more. One of the examples that we had was, you know how people today are frustrated with not having enough time to spend with their families? Well, what I do, I give them other options. Perks your interest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
This is Sue.
Yes, Sue.
What I thought of is, you know how many people are worried about having enough money for a comfortable retirement. Well, what I do is provide a secondary or another income stream for them to take them through retirement.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You can refer to that as a plan B or income stream. I like that. I like the word stream because that means it keeps coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you think yourself, when you first were approached about the business, how many of us were like, a business? Doing something else? People have to get over that hump just like we did. So we want to make it a little enticing for them to think, oh, what would that be like?
So we'll probably want to wrap this up within 5 minutes, okay, Janet? So if there's anything else,
Okay.
I got everybody's.
So
I can
let's
tell
go on
everybody's just
to,
processing and their wheels are turning. This is awesome.
and having the notes in front of you when you run them off, print them off, and you have them in front of you, that's very helpful because you can highlight the pieces that you really like and keep those and keep those for future. And we're going to go to the last page, which is at the end of this. And it's just kind of a summary thing. They're just some pieces I pulled up from.
Oh, these
I don't see
two?
that there.
Are these the ones?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Elevator speech tools, page 2. But I can summarize it. It looks like this. Except that's backwards.
Here we go.
There we go. We need to remember we get to be a resource for people. That's such an incredible gift that we can offer them. So here's some just very simple verbiage pieces I want to leave you with. On the product, just picture yourself having been around some people. I've been thinking about what you said. I may have a way to help you with that. Would you be open to take a look?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Business. If I can show you a way to build a side income in stolen moments, would you be interested to know how to do that? It's just simple. And then a third party, which you really never know because the person you're asking might be the one that says, well, what about me? I don't know if this is for you, but do you know anyone who might be interested? And those were some of the gems I pulled off from Reagan's training that I wanted to include in what we had to offer tonight. So thank you, everyone. And I like putting these together because it helps me remember better. I encourage you, if you ever have a chance to do a training, do it because it forces you to dig into stuff and then you tend to remember it a little better because we all tend to be a little forgetful. Any questions or anything I can help anybody with?
Yeah, could I make a comment? This is CJ.
Yes, CJ.
And this came up today while I was working my other business. And one of the antique dealers was in there and started talking. She asked, she said, "You're looking really good. What have you been doing?" And I told her, "Well, I found this wonderful product that is so easy to use and very inexpensive that has really made a lot of changes in my life." And she said, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, you know how we're supposed to be eating 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day?" She said, "Really, that much?" I said, "Yeah. How many are you?" You progress like that. And then went on from there, that she maybe has 3 or 4 in a week.
Mhm.
So as it happened, I didn't have one brochure in my car, but yeah, so I will be leaving stuff with down there tomorrow for her samples and stuff because she's very interested having it approached that way when she asked me, what's new with you. So that's another thing. It's not quite elevator speech, but it is when you run into people because you're still going to run into people probably that you haven't shared Juice Plus with, especially if you're new in the business.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Good, thank you. And if they get in the elevator and they don't say anything to you, you can always just say, "I'm really enjoying this weather," or "This has been a real exciting time. Are you enjoying your time here?" Or if it's a woman, you compliment them on what they're wearing, or it can be just light stuff, and then they might say something. If they don't, that's fine. Next.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank you, Janet. How many of you found this extremely helpful? Like you have some idea now what to say. So I would encourage you, all those documents are already on the team. Well, some of them, I'll add the last one, are on our Team Turquoise Facebook page in the files section. So,
Okay. And what will the
think
files say?
Hang on, CJ. So
Okay.
think of the kinds of people that you are likely to run into, okay? And those are the ones you want to focus on. If you're talking to nothing but young moms, then really work on those. The business ones, things that would, think of your market and have 2 or 3 of those, just kind of practice them at home. And you don't have to say it perfect, but if you can just remember those 2 sentence stems, that's what Janet,
Mm-hmm.
do you know how people these days are concerned about? And well, what I do is. And if you can just get that rolling off your tongue fast, you'll just fill in the end. And then see where the conversation takes you. It's really fun. And both times, the 3 times I've used it now, people are like, "Really? Tell me more." So that's what we want them doing. We want them asking us more and more. And then eventually we'll get around to sharing exactly what it is we do. So Janet, thank you so much. Thanks all of you for getting on tonight. Next week, we're back to our regular Fast Tracker call at 7, Momentum call at 8:15. Unless you're on Jen's team, you guys have your own calls. And then we have conference week. I'm so excited. So many of you will be there. The Monday after conference. This all-team call is usually the last Monday of the month, but we're going to switch it up for October. And we're going to have an all-team call that Monday, the 21st of October, which is the Monday right after conference. While it's all fresh in our mind, if you're coming to conference, get on the call so you can share, boom, mind blown, what really stood out to you. If you weren't at conference, definitely get on so you can hear a little bit of everything that's going to be talked about and announced there. And there will be a lot more coming. So that's the plan for the month of October. We had a great month in September. I'll be posting on the Facebook page tomorrow how many healthy kid count. So if you got any child orders, be sure and comment. And also if you're playing our incentive game and you're trying to watch your PVC pick up 250 points in a month, there's some money coming your way in January. So check with your sponsor about how to fill out that tracker if you've had a great month. All right. Thank you everyone for being on tonight. Good job, Janet. Thank you for blessing us with a great training. Really appreciate it.
That was amazing.
Okay. Have a great month, everyone. Go tell people what you do. Start riding around in elevators.
Thank you,
Great call,
Janet.
Janet.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That was
Bye,
good,
everybody.
Janet. Thank you.
Thank